During this lesson you will be required to fill out a worksheet. I recommend you read through the worksheet before viewing the lesson. In order to give you time to do this, you can use the pause button at the bottom of the screen. Learning outcomes. By the end of this lesson you should be able to list the 6 main types of herringbone bond, draw a sketch of a vertical herringbone bond panel of brickwork, list the 13 steps required to set out and build a single vertical herringbone panel, and state what size cuts are used when building diagonal herringbone. There are 6 main types of herringbone bond. They are usually built as a single panel surrounded by normal half or quarter bonded brickwork. We can see some examples in the diagram down below. We have vertical herringbone, double vertical herringbone, horizontal herringbone, double horizontal herringbone, diagonal herringbone, and double diagonal herringbone. Setting out and building vertical herringbone bond will be described in some detail as an example. Brief comments are made on other herringbone bonds. Building single vertical herringbone bond. 1. Build the surrounding brickwork accurately to the correct height, level, plumb and gauge. 2. Ensure that the tops of the reveals are at the same level. 3. Keep the opening width constant for the whole height. This can be done with the aid of a pinch rod rather than relying only on keeping the reveals plumb. Setting out and cutting. 4. Transfer a full-size outline of the opening onto a suitable board, allowing the lines to extend beyond the corner points. 5. Deduct 20 mm the total thickness of the 10 mm joints at each reveal from the width and 10 mm from the height to allow for the first bed joint. Do not deduct 10 mm for the joint at the top of the panel, as the top of the herringbone panel will be level with the top bricks of the reveals. 6. On the board, mark horizontal and vertical centre lines and lines at 45 degrees to them through the centre point of the panel. This gives the position of the first bricks to be placed in the setting out process. 7. Starting with these 2 bricks, place all of the bricks dry and accurately on the board. 8. Next, transfer the outline of the panel to the bottom and 2 sides of the dry bricks using a pencil or a chalk line. Be careful not to disturb the layout of the bricks while marking them. Alternatively, the size of all of the cuts can be obtained by drawing the panel out to a scale of 1:1. 9. The bricks are now ready for cutting. Bricks for decorative work are best cut on a masonry bench saw or with a portable consaw. Remember to place the cut bricks back onto the board to check their accuracy. Construction. 10. After cutting the bricks to shape, place a gauge rod along the bottom of the dry panel and mark the position of the cut bricks. Use the gauge rod as a template to position the bricks in the first course. The laying of herringbone bond must be controlled at an angle of 45 degrees. Run a level line to control the top of each course and a vertical centre line to help control the angle at 45 degrees. The more checks we have, the better. 12. A boat level and 45-degree set square should also be used, or a boat level with an adjustable voile. (13) Lay the last row temporarily and mark them with a chalk line level with the top of the reveals and cut accurately. Ensure mortar is of the right consistency to avoid staining from wet mortars and so that the bricks can be gently rubbed into position. Tapping or knocking down bricks is likely to disturb the work below far more in angled brickwork than in horizontal courses. Double vertical herringbone bond. In order to centre the pattern, set the centre bricks in relation to the centre lines as shown. Horizontal and double horizontal herringbone bond. Setting out on construction are the same as the vertical bonds, except that the direction of the bond is horizontal rather than vertical. Diagonal and double diagonal herringbone bond. These bonds have approximately only a third as many cuts as the horizontal and vertical forms. Because the pattern aligns with the main brick courses, it can be built at the same time, thus avoiding the lengthy setting out process. 1/3 cuts of 65mm and 2/3 cuts of 140mm are used. This is by far the handiest form of herringbone to build. Conclusion. 6 types of herringbone bond are single and double vertical, single and double horizontal, and single and double diagonal. To draw a single vertical herringbone panel, simply use the same steps used for setting out and building it, and draw one brick at a time. When building diagonal herringbone, 1/3 cuts of 65mm and 2/3 cuts of 140mm are used. "13 steps to setting out and building a single vertical herringbone panel. 1. Build all of the surrounding brickwork perfectly level, plumb, to gauge, etc. 2. The tops of the reveals on either side of the panel should be the exact same level. 3. Keep the opening width of the panel constant for the entire height. 4. Draw an outline of the opening onto a board. 5. Deduct 20mm from the width and 10mm from the height to allow for the surrounding joint. 6. Mark a horizontal and a vertical line and also lines at 45 degrees through the centre point of the panel. 7. Place the 2 starter bricks accurately on the board and then place all the rest of the bricks on the board also, keeping all the joints 10mm. 8. Transfer an outline of the opening onto the top of the dry bonded bricks. 9. Cut the bricks and then place them back onto the board to check their accuracy. 10. Mark and place a gauge rod along the bottom of the panel. 11. Run a level line and a vertical centre line in order to control the angle at 45 degrees. 12. You should also use a boat level and a 45-degree set square or a 45-degree level in order to help control the angle of the bricks at 45 degrees. 13. Lay the last row temporarily and mark them off with a chalk line.